On Good Friday 1964, our life was interrupted at 5:36 p.m. Alaska Standard Time when a fault between the Pacific and North American plates ruptured near College Fjord in Prince William Sound, 78 miles east of Anchorage. We were living in an apartment in downtown Anchorage. My mother was preparing dinner. I was setting the table. My dad was reading the newspaper. That first jolt hit. My dad, always able to make a quick decision in a crisis, commanded, "This is going to be really big. Let's get out of here." We ended up bouncing from wall to wall as we descended the short flight of stairs to the front yard. There, my parents held on to each other in order to stand up. I simply sat on the snowy ground, which came to us in waves. Destruction was occurring everywhere around us. We watched a nearby 14-story apartment building sway 15 feet each way off center upright, and the dust rise from the concrete as the walls cracked. According to official reports, it lasted from 3 to 5 minutes and had a magnitude of 9.2, making it the most powerful recorded earthquake in U.S. and North American history, and the second most powerful ever measured by a seismograph. This earthquake produced liquefaction in the region. Ground fissures and failures caused major structural and property damage and several landslides. 200 miles southwest, some areas near Kodiak were permanently raised 30 feet. East of Anchorage, around Turnagain Arm near Portage, the land dropped 8 feet. So there was vertical displacement of about 38 feet in 100,000 square miles of Alaska. Various sources indicate that about 131 people died as a result of the earthquake. 9 during the earthquake itself, 106 during the subsequent tsunamis in Alaska, and 16 from those in Oregon, California, and other places. My friends, I set the timer when I began the sermon for 3 minutes. That's how long the earth shook. In the past 46 years, never does Good Friday pass without my remembering the great Alaska earthquake. All 4 accounts of Jesus' passion and death allude to a cataclysmic event when he died on the cross. Only Matthew actually states what that event was, an earthquake. The usual focus on earthquakes is their powerfully destructive force, and the account of the earthquake has colored our understanding of Good Friday. The gospel writers, in fact, invite us to see Jesus' death as a cataclysmic event, and it certainly was. It was a violent and cruel and unjust death. But the focus of Good Friday is not just the cataclysmic event of Jesus' death, but God's reconciling us to himself and us to one another. How do we know God in the violent and cruel death of Jesus? We know God through Jesus' acts of compassion and justice, not only in his life, but also in the midst of his death. From the cross, Jesus cared not only for his mother and his friends, but for the crowd, the thief, and even those who crucified him. From the cross, Jesus knew that his mother needed someone to care for her, and he created a new family unit so that his best friend and his mother would take care of each other. An act of compassion that is an example to all of us. From the cross, the thief asked, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And from the cross, Jesus comforted him with the promise, "Truly, I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." A promise of reconciliation for us as well. From the cross, Jesus shows the greatest promise of compassion by praying, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." An act of grace not only for the crowd, but for us too. When someone reaches out in acts of compassion or works of justice, we know God and we are drawn into God's presence. This year, there have been two remarkable cataclysmic events. On January 24, an earthquake hit Haiti. You have heard the horrible numbers of people that have died, were injured, or are homeless. Many countries responded to appeals for humanitarian aid, pledging funds and dispatching rescue and medical teams, engineers, and support personnel. Entertainment personalities have raised millions for the victims of this quake.